So we're back here in Austin, Texas with our good friends Kairu Zaman of Z-Works Design Build. We're just south of the river on Juliet Street building a new project with you. Really interesting. I'm loving a lot of the things that are going on in this project.
It is.
Pretty interesting owners and what they're trying to do with this building, with this home. I know they've been here for 20-something years and want to be here for another 20-something years, so they're really playing for keeps on this house. Tell me a little bit about what your goals were for this house.
Well, we started this about 2 years ago when the homeowners are a good friend of mine, and they approached me to kind of design and build a place that's somewhat live, work, play in same scenario, same building. And one of the critical requirement for homeowner Alan Little was to be able to have a shop in an urban setting that's somewhat quiet,
right,
and be able to do the professional woodworking, steelworking that he does.
Right. So it's quiet from the outside in and the inside out as well.
Exactly, exactly. So that led to several versions of design process that made the building somewhat fit an urban lot of 6,500 square feet.
Right.
So in this particular scenario, ICF worked out to be ideal building material for making a workshop that's quiet, making a separate office area where we are standing.
That's all on the main floor here.
That's all on the main ground floor with an elevator access to the upper level.
Okay.
So the ground floor is kind of a work area.
That's work. Upstairs
Second floor
is
live.
Okay.
So, and the backyard is kind of play.
Play, okay.
So that is the basic concept, and homeowner basically transferred that concept to us at the early stages of design, and from there we went on to design the building, and we are following through with the design after getting the city's permit to get that done.
Right. And on top of this, they're going to try to make this a net zero. They're making this a net zero home.
It is designed as a net zero home, and we are going to monitor it to make sure that it performs as a net zero place.
Amazing.
So
you've got an ICF structure. Tell me about the floor and roof system for this.
So a basic structure is fairly simple. We have 4 exterior walls with ICF, and this separating wall that's separating the shop from the rest of the building, and above that we have steel framing. That's heavy steel framing that's
so you got
supporting the SIPS
structural
floor.
steel beams in there.
Structural steel beams that's supporting the SIPS floor, and finished floor would be above that, above the floor SIPS.
Gotcha.
Basic idea is you're trying to isolate the sound from the shop or the downstairs to the living area, and that's a 6 inches SIPS floor. Above that, from the second floor up, we would go another 8 to 13 feet.
Right.
With a single slope shed roof that drains all of the water down to the back of the lot.
Right. So from front to back, single slope all the way back.
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. And that allows for a simple drainage that drains into the back, into the cisterns.
Now, you didn't use a conventional wood SIP. You tell me a little bit about the SIPs that you're using on this project.
So one of the concerns for the homeowners were making sure that this is a one-time build, lifelong building. So we did not want to run into any issues with things rotting or molding or any sort of long-time maintenance issues that comes up in typical buildings all the time. So we ended up with steel SIPs. These are 22 gauge skinned 6-inch SIPs for the floor support system, and for the roof.
So sheet metal top and bottom with foam in between.
That's correct. That's correct. EPS, 6 inches EPS in between with 22 gauge sheet metal.
Well, let's go upstairs and look at what the SIPs look like from downstairs, and then see where construction is going to head next.
That sounds good.
So up here on the second floor, obviously really cool. You can see the SIP floor still exposed here. Tell me a little bit about how that's going to be finished when you're all said and done.
So this was one of the ideas of separating the sound from downstairs
Right.
work area to upstairs. So we'll have 2 layers of 3/4-inch sleepers on the SIPS panels.
Okay.
And then we'll have the finished floor on top of those sleepers, so that kind of isolates the sound, noisy downstairs to upstairs, calm living area.
Right. So it's acoustically isolated.
That's correct.
2 times.
That's correct.
Yeah. So I know that were the beams downstairs full span from end wall to end wall? Or were they also bearing on the mid center wall?
They're bearing on the center wall that you saw that separated.
Which is ICF as well.
That is ICF wall.
So you have 3 ICF walls. But on the second
Downstairs?
floor, tell me what's going to happen here.
So we're increasing the span here a little bit more between the 2 ICF walls. So we're spanning 25 feet
Okay.
between the 2 ICF walls, and here the 12-inch steel beams are gonna run across.
Okay, so full 25
Full
free span.
25 feet free span,
Okay.
and we'll have 5 of those spaced out evenly, or somewhat evenly to line up with the columns of
Columns
the
of-
ICF.
right.
And then we would put 12 inches of SIPS roof on top of that.
A 12-inch SIP roof. So it's the
12
same
inch.
metal panel, or the metal top and bottom, and then 12 inches of insulation.
You're correct.
Oh, wow.
Exactly same kind of SIPs. It's just twice as thick, giving us more than our 40, which is required
Wow.
by code.
So you got a sloped ICF concrete wall with beams across, and then on top of that, you've got your SIP,
Got the SIPs
and
roof
then you're
on top of
finishing
that.
with standing seam metal or something.
Right.
Okay.
That's correct.
Oh, very interesting. Well, that's quite, I mean, it looks crazy simple. So, I mean, was there anything that you had to do in design to kind of plan this out to make sure it worked? Because
Well,
out here, it looks pretty simple.
It does, and it's amazingly simple while we are actually building. All of the communication between myself and my crew
Right.
is very clear because we had planned out such. Because we had a good set of plan that coordinated all
Right.
of these issues ahead of time, so we know exactly where the beams are falling, making sure that they are falling in the center of the
Columns.
ICF cells.
Yeah.
And those are some of the critical steps
Right.
that structural engineers sometimes overlook.
Okay.
But as architects, we try to coordinate these things
Right.
and make sure that they are lining up with the module of the blocks.
Yeah. Well, again, appreciate you having us out here, and look forward to seeing this wrap up. Can show all the other goodies. I know there's a swim jet out there, and there's
Oh,
all
yeah.
sorts of stuff, and a basement, which is unusual here in Central Texas. But thank you very much. So
That's
stay
correct.
tuned. We'll be bringing you more videos soon. In the meantime, you're happy to go to see any of our other videos, or go to bautexsystems.com for more information about Bautex. And then Green Builder Austin,
Greenbuilder, Texas.
greenbuildertexas.com for ZWorks Design Build.